Hello everyone, welcome to Energy Circles VSPTenneti channel. Mitraaya namaha. In the last video, we saw how Rosie took the gemstone from Keller and passionately kissed it. Keller was already so much in love with her that he didn't realize he had given her the most valuable thing. That night, when Rosie held the gemstone in her hands and went to bed, she experienced a deep sense of dilemma in her heart. She looked at herself and she didn't want to be a prostitute anymore. It was a life-turning moment for her. She expressed all these feelings to Keller and he loved her even more for being so honest. Rosie's elder sister Andrea was furious as her plan to dig as much money from Keller as possible was falling apart. With each passing day, Rosie became closer and closer to Keller, and they spent most of their time with each other. Though many millionaires had bid lakhs of money to spend a night with Rosie, she had madly fallen in love with Keller. This provoked Andrea to hatch another devilish plan to grab the gemstone from Rosie. She immediately called her closest cousin, her partner in crime, Augustine, and narrated all that had happened. "I need that gemstone in my hands in any case," she demanded in rage. Augustine struck a deal with Andrea and they both plotted to get a bigger and brighter fake gemstone. That very night, Augustine visited Andrea with a fantastic glittering duplicate gemstone. Rosie and Keller joined them for dinner and both of them were mesmerized to see this sparkling new gemstone. Instantly, Keller had a deep urge to own this new gem and he looked at Rosie, who expressed the same excitement. Keller requested Augustine to exchange this precious new stone with the lucky gemstone that he possessed. Augustine pretended that his gem was precious and he would not trade it for anything in return. After Keller had pleased Augustine multiple times politely, Augustine budged and finally gave him the fake gemstone. The gem was glittering like a bright star on a dark new moon day. In return, Rosie and Keller handed over their valuable gemstone to Augustine. When Augustine held this gemstone, he felt shivers run through his spine. He sunk in shame for all the frauds he had committed. He looked at Andrea and signaled to her that their actions were wrong. Rosie was confused as to what was happening. Before Andrea could stop Augustine, he confessed the truth and broke down. He announced that such a powerful and divine gemstone must only belong to the king. Keller and Rosie nodded in agreement. Andrea was fuming with uncontrollable anger. Augustine stormed to King Edward's palace in no time and elaborated on all that had happened. King Edward was very much impressed by his honesty. He carefully took the gemstone in his hands and examined it. Then he smiled brightly and carried it to his palace's most intimate shrine of worship. The king instructed his minister to decorate the place exuberantly and installed the sparkling gemstone in the shrine. The gemstone received eternal worship, and the name and fame of King Edward echoed in all the directions of the world. After that, King Edward also announced Augustine as his court man, who people adored for his honesty. All the events occurred magically, where a menial tailor became the wealthiest man. The most beautiful woman gave up prostitution, and a thief transformed into a noble person, because of which this gemstone is called the Galaxy Star. It is also commonly called with the name Royal Regent. Innumerable stories are a witness to worshipping the gemstone by touching or wearing them on oneself. Well-known gemologists accurately calculate the celestial stars' movement, examine the horoscope, and scientifically refer to the most beneficial gem of the right size during the auspicious muhurta. The gemstone goes through an elaborate process of Ashtadikpalaka Navagraha Bindu Kona Nuda Chakra, cleansing, japa, tapa, homa, yajna, and following the rules of Dana Dharma. With all this, one is showered with the grace for their desires, be it marriage, employment, health, wealth, children, name and fame to people in artistic fields, devotion, peace, the dawn of enlightenment, and the list goes on and on. Even the Brahmanda Purana, Narada Purana, Skanda Purana, and Kurma Purana describe the splendor of various secretive and magnificent gemstones. King Indradyumna ruled the kingdom of Utkala. He was a beloved devotee of Lord Vishnu, and he had the deepest desire to build a grand temple for Sri Mahavishnu. However, it was a strange wish that he wanted to create it in the form of the Buddha. But he faced a challenge to express his imagination to the sculptors and Vedic scholars who could not grasp the essence of what King Indradyumna explained. Vishwakarma, the brilliant sculptor of gods, proficient in Agama Shastra, could recognize the depth of King Indradyumna's desire. Vishwakarma approached Lord Indra, and said he wanted to craft this beautiful idol of Sri Mahavishnu for the king. And in one night, the exuberant idol was ready, precisely depicting the king's imagination. King Indradyumna's joy knew no bounds. However, the temple was still incomplete. Like a gemstone is powerless without Kona Puja and Prana Pratishtha, a temple is incomplete without the Chakra Pratishtha, mantras, and Dikbandhana. And none of this was performed when the idol was sculpted. The king was extremely worried and thought about the other option, Tara Dandam. With the same worry in his mind, he then fell asleep. In his dreams that night, Lord Sri Mahavishnu appeared in his divine form and told the king to look for the celestial serpent who lay dead nearby. The king woke up with a ray of hope. He ordered his ministers to get them diamond, money, pertaining to the celestial serpent, so that the Chakra Shuddhi, that is the cleansing, and the Chakra Pratishtha, which is the consecration, could be completed for the temple. On the same day, King Indradyumna, the Brahmins, the Vedic experts, and Rajagurus reached the seashore to meet the great sculptor Vishwakarma. The Neela Mani was installed and they completed the Naga Pratishtha. Vishwakarma explained that people who wish to have children would be blessed with the joy of having their babies if they performed Sarpa Shanti Naga Pratishtha. After all the discussions concluded on the seashore, King Indradyumna was grief struck because once they completed the Naga Pratishtha, nobody could move the dazzling and radiant Neelamani into the temple. The king felt a deep sense of pain as to why he faced so many hurdles in installing the temple for Lord Shri Mahavishnu. He instantly dropped to the floor and meditated with all his heart and devotion. Shri Mahavishnu spoke, performing the Divya Mani Dhyanam, which would bind Lord Shri Mahavishnu to take the seat on Neelamani as his throne and fly it to the temple shrine himself. The process of Divya Mani Dhyanam is mentioned in the Shamantaka Divya Dhyanam, and you can find the reference for Mani Dhyanam in the sacred mantra texts which are available in Kerala, India. The king sat down to perform a rigorous Divya Mani Dhyanam without any second thoughts. As the color of Neelamani is blue, he invoked the god with a blue complexion, Lord Shanaishchara, by performing the Kona Puja. Lord Shanaishchara was touched by the perseverance of the king and blessed him heartily. Vijayostu Indradyumna. Lord Shri Mahavishnu had no choice but to make the king's journey victorious. He proclaimed, the human beings cannot build Mani Chakra. They can only enjoy the sweet nectar of possessing the gemstones. Thus, I shall build the Mani Chakra myself to symbolize the perseverance of my beloved devotee. The Lord then compassionately appeared as a Brahmin lad, sat on the Mani and flew it to the temple shrine. The dream of King Indradyumna had come true, and the Lord himself finally consecrated the temple. Even to this day, they believe that the Neela Mani Chakra, a diamond drawn out of the celestial serpent's head, is consecrated at the sacred place of Jagannathapuri. And anybody who worships this gemstone is showered with victories and prosperity like King Indradyumna. As a tribute to the perseverance of King Indradyumna, he is regarded as highly as King Bhagirathas, who got Devi Ganga onto the earth. And as per the sacred text, Shani Smarana, Kona Puja, Indradyumna Smarana, Mani Chakra Shuddhi and Prana Pratishtha have supreme importance in the consecration of the gemstone. I hope these stories have inspired you about the miracles that manifest with sincere perseverance and the grace of such glittering gems. I'll see you in the next episode of this series. Bye.